All right, is there anything in particular you like want to look for today?
Not really. I think I'm getting a lot better. I've been solo queuing a lot just to focus on my own gameplay and stuff.
Okay.
And I think this game I had to cut the stream off because it was just like destroying my frames, but you get a pretty good picture of what I'm doing. I think it's like 25 minutes of gameplay or something.
Yeah, as
So
long
I
as
can
we
upload my own.
get what side did you start?
We start on Defense Haven.
Okay. And
With
we got as
the
long as we get a good few
Mortals.
rounds of T side, that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. All right, let me skip ahead into there and then I'll share screen in a sec.
Okay. Look for the time to start. That first round starts around 5:50 to 6 minutes.
Okay.
What rank are you now?
I'm just diamond still. I had some heartbreakers. I don't know if you got in stream last night, but I had 3 losses that were all 13-12. And
Oh
one of
man.
them I dropped 29 in, so it's really
Yeah,
sad.
that's tough.
Yeah, but I would have probably ended up diving too. I don't know. I'll probably get to it tonight, but we'll have to see. But yeah, that's where I'm sitting at right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can make diamond soon. I have an alt account that's gold 3. I just made that one just so I can solo queue on, but I
Okay.
solo queue on my main now, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I got you.
But
That's good though.
in the gold 3 account, I got placed with diamonds and immortals.
Yeah, some of me like this game is a little weird when it comes with like ranking. I don't know why because like I played a game yesterday. I played against the Mortals here. I'll send you the screenshot. I dropped 29 against the Immortal players like primarily. They had like Immortal 2s, Immortal 1s. It was crazy. But like I was
Hmm.
like that's like I don't think I'm that good. I mean, maybe, but like I feel like that shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
And then like I
that
have
is
the
weird.
next game it was like just diamonds and then I just played like average. So it's just I don't know,
Yeah,
it's weird.
exactly. And I had like the game before that, it'll be like 2 plats and the rest is like gold, like mid low gold, and I'm like,
Hmm.
what? Makes no
A
sense.
little strange,
But
but anyways, it probably just part of the beta process, so it's fine. Okay, so you said nothing you really specifically want to look for. You just kind of just overall gameplay.
yeah, just overall gameplay.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, that's
just
fine.
kind of some decisions. And I know my aim still needs work, but
Yeah,
it is what
that's
it
fine.
is.
The aim will come with time. The decision making is a lot more what I'm here for because at the end of the day, if your aim's bad, you could just practice for X amount of time a day, and that'll just improve
Yeah,
over time. But
exactly.
decision making's hard to train. So
Yeah, I played 1,400 hours of CS. I made it to LEM for a
okay,
long time, so I have decent experience in the game. I never
gotcha.
made it to I don't know. I quit a couple years ago because just got tired of the game.
I
But
feel that same with me. I didn't get super tired of it, but I was just ready to move on.
yeah,
All right. Okay, so you're going A, cool.
yeah, not much interesting stuff happens here. I just get absolutely wrecked, and I still don't know from where. Maybe she was long. I don't know.
Let's see. I think she's below you. She's on site.
Yeah, like the very tip of my head had to be showing. Just a good shot.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so the one thing I think you kind of just got blasted. That's okay, it happens. But one thing I appreciate a lot of people is always play around your team and play around their mistakes. So whenever before you peek this, I mean, you gotta expect them to be looking at you, which you do, is why you clear all these angles. But at the end of the day, your teammates just weren't even out. Like they couldn't have done anything. And so if they come out, if they obviously your race died, and your cipher probably would have also died. But if you give them time to push out, that pulls a lot more pressure towards them, and maybe this race might not have looked at you or something. Or if she
Hmm.
did, you wouldn't have had to worry about these other players because it's also possible that whenever you died right here, um, I don't think they were, but this is things that could happen in the future. Guys, I don't know where you died either. I think it's right there. I think that X. I don't know.
Yeah, it has to be
Yeah.
like right underneath.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they weren't looking. I was about to say it's possible these players also could have been looking heaven, but um, I mean, I like to. You just kind of died. It's okay. It happens that you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
get
yeah.
blasted. But that is one thing you can do is wait a little bit longer, for your teammates to come around because that's just gonna pull a lot of pressure away from you, partially,
Hmm.
in most scenarios. So that's good. Anyways.
Yeah, that one I didn't. I mean, I could have played it better, but like it
Yeah.
was second round pistol, like eco, whatever.
Mhm. Okay, so whenever you hold an angle, I always preach this to everybody. It's really, really good. If you get into this habit, the way you play angles will improve immensely. So whenever you hold a spot, you need two things to go through your head. One of them is how can I die, and the other one is how can I not get the kill. Very weird, sounds weird, but hear me out. So how can I die? That one's just pretty obvious. Like, is your angle? Are you holding it too wide? Are you outgunned, whatever the case may be, and then how can you not get the kill? Maybe you're holding the angle too tight, maybe you just don't have a better gun, like I said, outgun. And so if you think about these things, you'd like make a better play, or you'll make better plays in general. And this is one of them, because one of the ones here is how can it die. I mean, you have a pistol and they have like better guns, so there's pretty much no way you win this fight. Like, it doesn't matter if this player is like silver, like you just kind of lose this fight. And so that being said, I think if you need to make sure you hold a closer angle with the pistol, because the only thing it's good for literally is right click. I don't know if you ever use the right click on it.
Oh, all the time, yeah.
Yeah, so that is
Right
the
clicks are
exactly. The rest of the gun is completely useless. Very sad, honestly. I think I need to buff it. But anyways, that's besides the point. So that being said, I think if you whenever you like are holding an angle, like I said, think about how you can lose the fight. And if you think about that, I think you would have held this. So I think instead if you just hold that, like you shoulder peek for info, Tens does this a lot whenever he holds angles. He'll shoulder peek to get the info, and he'll might re-peek for like a shoulder peek to like take a shot at him. But for the most part, I would have just sat close sight and just tried to just get something off. Because I mean, and that would also be kind of a weird spot because then they're close with a submachine gun, which is also something you don't want. But I think you have more of a chance then to get a kill than you do like trying to take a fight like this. Does that make sense?
yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay. So yeah, that's just one thing, and that like I said, that stuff will add up over time. Because if you always think about that, then you'll slowly start holding angles much smarter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Sova cheese, I love it.
My favorite thing about Sova.
I know. I used to think he was overrated, but not really anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought so too at the beginning. I was like, everyone's saying he's so good, then I started playing, and I'm like, oh,
Like, he's really good at high level. At low level, it's not quite as much, just because info doesn't really mean
yeah,
anything. But
yeah, exactly.
okay, you're rotating, cool.
And here, I actually could have got the second kill on that Sage. I didn't realize that I didn't kill the Sage
Oh
when I
wait,
was
yeah, me
trying to
neither.
kill
I
him.
didn't. Oh,
Yeah, I just headshot the
that's
Sova
okay though.
somewhere. I don't know where. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe we had a clean retake here.
Yeah, that's good. Clear at angles well. You taking your time, how you peek stuff.
I love that dart.
Yeah, that stuff's
The
so
wall hang
clean.
ability there.
Oh, yeah, that is weird. I thought you did kill her. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, not much you could have done. Maybe use your shock darts, but you didn't need to. And I don't play Sova, so I can't really. Uh, no need if you don't like. If you feel like you don't have to, then you're good, and you didn't. So yeah, good round. I hate playing sites where you have to rotate a lot because I feel like you just die a lot. It happens to me a lot
Yeah.
whenever I play Cypher on split because people just don't go B because it's a Cypher.
Mm-hmm. I got an early pick in that round. I don't think
Oh,
I
you
did too
did?
much. I think I just yeah.
Oh, okay, shoot. Well, thank you for
I
pointing.
stuck along to that fight a little longer than I should have. I should have got the first pick and moved out, but I was like maybe I can get the spray transfer, which I didn't.
Oh yeah, yeah. You should be dead here, 100%.
Yeah, definitely shouldn't be dead. I was like that's why I figured I just kept shooting. I was like I should be dead. I got triple peaked.
Yeah,
But
once you commit to this first person and then you see him swing, you better back out. I think. I mean, you know that though. Sounds like you do. Yeah, you got lucky for sure.
yeah. I mean I had 4 health. One of those was not a leg shot probably.
Yeah, but I mean, you know why that could have been a mistake. So a lot of like the
Yeah.
way I like to hold long A. I don't know if you actually do it here. I'll point it out. Um, because you can take better fights like this because you have two players on site, so this isn't necessarily bad. But you get to you see the angle before they can cross, so literally just pixel hold it, where like you pretty much can't shoot them, but you can at least see them run, and then once you do that, you can fall off and call. That's a lot safer route, especially if they're rushing like this, because like I said, you should be dead here, and so that's a lot
Mhm.
smarter way to do that. Not too bad because you do have another player on site because you can go for that risky fight because you can worry about your other teammate cleaning up, which is exactly what
Mhm.
happens. But you can't always rely on your teammates to do stuff like that. So in general, that's always a smart way to play it. But yeah, it's fine. Oh, hold on. Is it a lineup with this light bulb and that plank up there?
No, it's literally just the right diamond the right diamond on the charge bars links with the second bulb on the second line.
Oh, I see.
Or I guess the third from the left, and you just touch it
Right
very
there.
slightly to charge. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And that's it. And then you just two charge it lands on the tree back there. But if they're rushing, then you might miss them, like this happens there. But like it's
Hmm.
great if they're just kind of hanging out in mid, like
Right. Which
maybe
is
like
what
looking window coming out
happens.
and stuff.
Yeah, it happens all
Yeah,
the time.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, same thing here. This is, I mean, I think taking the fight there isn't the worst thing ever, but you gotta weigh it against. Did I just slow the video down? I did. I don't know how I did that. You gotta kind of weigh things like based on like what's worth, like, because a lot of it's gonna come down to, are you confident to hit the shot, and obviously like how good is the enemy. And if you feel like you're better, then I actually think this is good because you can get the free kill, and now it's 4v5, and you're not dead at all. You can just run B, get a heal from Sage, and call it. But if you get to higher MMRs, you need to be careful with stuff like this because obviously if you lose this fight, that you're at a really bad spot, and this is obviously completely avoidable. Because you can, the way you need to look at it is obviously based on their guns, and like it really comes down to how you're comfortable because you eventually like. I can keep telling you that maybe you shouldn't hold this angle, hold that angle, but you got to fight at some point. So I think a lot of it's going to come down to, are you more comfortable with the long range fights or not, or the short range? And if you're more comfortable with the short range, then you can just fall back to sight here. But that's just a you thing. That's not necessarily bad. I just wanted to add to that because that might
I
be.
definitely play. I play very differently at high elo, and I think it's something I need to work on mentally because like I'll do really badly in games against golds, and then I'll frag out in like
Oh, it
diamond
happens. It's
and
very
high
normal.
plat.
I have the same issue because a lot of it is like the level of play is so different. You're just not used to the way people play at gold. And
It doesn't
then
make any
you
sense.
get caught off guard a lot more than you think. And then also,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Then you start getting in your head about stuff. So
Yep,
trust me, you're not the only one. I struggle with the exact same issue.
that's good to know. Oh, it was unfortunate.
Let's
Sova
see.
pushes his smoke here. I don't know what the hell he's doing. And then Raze ults me and get outskilled by the RPG.
Yeah, unlucky. Rip, that's
Trying
tough.
to commit to the spray transfer, but not much I could have done there. I mean, just like reposition earlier because I knew she died.
I I think you need to not hold this out. You either need to use it now or not hold it at all. I think, were you waiting for the smoke to fade? I'm assuming that's what you were doing.
Yeah, I was just waiting to get some info. If they weren't going to push and the stage was going to move, I could look into mid and see what's going on. I don't remember what info we had at the time.
Yeah, but that's what I say. Depending on obviously what you have now. So the thing is, uh, whenever you're looking to get the info, just go ahead and get it. Like, don't worry about what anybody else is doing because at the end of the day, even if this guy gets info, like you can't fully rely on it. Obviously, you can see on the minimap, which is good. But and the reason I say that is because if you would have shot your drone out now, your sage would have probably played off of it, or at least maybe smarter, like played off of it a little bit smarter. You would have got the info that they were there, and you could have helped her take this fight. Because at the end of the day, like they took a 1v1, and now it's 4v4, and then you guys just could put yourself in a bad spot after that. Which obviously is not all your fault, but that's kind of what happens. Yeah, I mean, you just going for the spray is fine here because she's gonna ult you regardless. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you need to, in this spot, based on what's going on in the round, it's like, okay, we think they're coming B, and she has like no more util. So if they want to go B, now they can just go for free. I think this is exactly when you drone once she used her second slow. So right now, you would get the info that they're there, and you can reposition off that because obviously you standing here is not going to help. So basically the point is like play around your teammates and their mistakes because what's going to happen is if you hold like this angle with your gun, they're going to see her first, and you can peek off that and get a free kill because she's holding, I don't want to say a bad angle, but not the smartest one. And so, yeah, I think if you use this early, and then, like I said, play around your teammates' mistakes, we'll
Yeah,
call it. Just
definitely.
play around your teammates, essentially. Because, like, even a lot of, I preach a lot of lower elo people, which are not quite there. You're more mid elo, if you will, I guess. But play, like, a lot of people complain that their teammates are always so bad, this, that, the other. I'm like, well, if they're bad, you can play around how stupid they are. And
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
kind of an example. Like I said, not really, because she's not like she was playing really necessarily stupidly, but still, you can adjust your play based on what they're doing. And I think you could have netted a free kill there and helped slow down the push. And I don't know if you guys ended up winning the round or not, but
No, I don't think so. He gets a pick here.
yeah,
He tries to save the gun.
that was a good shot. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their Raze is just pulling up. And yeah, so you see how you could possibly prevented this. Um, Because what's gonna happen is if you peek, if you're holding the angle, like I said, I guess I already said this, but yeah, they're looking at her, so they're focusing on her. That's free kills for you. Plus they're lined up, so you could potentially just literally spray down 2 of them. So anyways, kind of a small thing, but it's another one of those examples of those things that are gonna add up over time. And so it's good to start thinking about these things now. Oh, you're looking for your.
Oh, this is awesome.
Oh, that is juicy. We love to see it.
And I don't remember, but we may have actually lost this round.
Oh gosh, we'll see why.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. Oh no, we don't.
Let me see.
Didn't expect her to push out A long like that after that, but that's the caught off guard stuff. I'm like, oh, let me just click.
Yeah.
There's no way she's actually there. Like,
Yeah,
my
I think.
reaction time was so slow.
I mean, yeah, if you don't expect something, you can't expect your reaction time to be fast. I think the only thing you do differently is shoulder peek it. Just start shoulder peeking, because then you would have seen her and backed up and be like, okay. Because at the end of the day, like whenever you're in a 1vx situation, or like you have more numbers, all you do is play for info. That's literally it. Typically, obviously, if it's like 4v5, maybe not. But in this case, you would obviously, because I mean, obviously he just died. But point is, like your team is whole entirely alive, because all that's gonna happen is the way she wins this round is by taking 1v1 fights, and there's one. And it could continue, which you said it doesn't, which is good. But that's the way. That's the type of stuff that does work. Is how you lose the 1v1s, or how you lose.
Look at the Rays up there taking another one.
Exactly. See, that she could have died there, and now it's two. Now it's 2v3.
And then she might have had res, all that kind of stuff. So.
Exactly. So this is where like this could have netted the round loss. Now, obviously, and that's where it gets scary, because you're like, oh, we have 5 people. Like, let me just push. And then obviously next thing you know, it's like, wait a minute, like even right here, obviously she just killed her, but she ended up killing like him, and it's like, okay, wait a minute, now it's 1v3, and Ray's took another 1v1. That could have very, very easily been, like you said, 2v1. Now it's looking really scary. And so yeah, basically just in advantageous, positions, just go play for info, because that's like, you pretty much can't lose that way. Because you'd shoulder peek there, see that she's long, and you'd be like, okay, let me just back up, and then you just you can't lose the round effectively. So okay, cool. Let's see.
Oh, I just didn't clear.
Yeah, plus I think you're a little caught off guard here. Yeah, that's okay. I'm trying to think.
I could have been more cautious, cleared angles, waited for my team. Definitely.
I'm about to say, I think it goes back to the whole waiting for your team, because I don't think necessarily what you're doing here is bad. Because you just kind of got caught off guard, which is, I mean, it happens. But at the end of the day, nobody could have backed you up, because even if you do die to this player, if this breach looks like he's coming CT, oh, never mind, he went garage. Still, if one of them would eventually come towards CT, like their Sage, and then you'd have died, that's an easy trade for her. And now it's 3v1. So, yeah, I think you just got to play a little more patiently. That's what, like I said, one way you can always think about that is whenever you like push onto site or pushing an angle or anything, just think about like, always just check your minimap. I don't know if you like, I like my minimap literally all the time. I don't know if you have the habit of that. And if you don't, you definitely should, because you'll always like kind of pick up on what your team's doing, and that's super good to build over time, especially once you get to higher ranks where people are like actually good. And so you can like reliably, you can like expect people to back you up like reliably. They can actually, because obviously when you, at low ranks, you can't expect your teammates to get kills anyways. Like you just can't. But obviously at high MMR you can. You can start to expect it. Doctor after Juicy. Oh god, that was bold.
Oh, this is kind of funny. I get naded, ulted, and then Sova ulted.
Yeah, you just get clobbered.
Yeah.
Okay, do you think this was good?
No, definitely not.
Okay, and why was it bad?
Maybe done the shoulder peek.
Say again?
I was going for, well, I just swung too wide.
Yeah.
Maybe could have shoulder peek, gone for info, maybe got one pick and a sliver if I was lucky, but.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
I think I swung because of the ult. I still could have stayed alive though, but then the Raze nade, which I didn't know was coming.
Oh, I see.
Destroyed me, which she might not have thrown if I hadn't peeked, so I don't know.
Yeah, same thing. Because at the end of the day, you don't know what you're peeking into. I mean, you kind of do. With this, you see.
I saw 3.
Once, you saw 3. It's like, okay, yeah. So this is a bad peek for sure. You should have died here, wherever it is. I can't get to it. And so I think Reyes might have held her nade. I think the only reason she threw it where she did is because she saw you. I think she was looking to throw that like heaven, or maybe I don't know. It's. I mean, based on how I've played, nobody ever nades this spot. Truthfully,
Right.
like I said, she might have been going for it, but I'm pretty sure she was throwing that heaven because that's what a lot of Reyes do because it just flushes out that part while they can push sight. So you wouldn't have got hit by this, and so Sova wouldn't have ulted, and you wouldn't have got hit by the nades. So you could have lived here. You could have prevented a lot of this, just from all of what happened. Yeah, I mean, obviously you just get cucked, but that's what happens. But you see, like, looking back at the gameplay, you see what this caused. You literally got ulted by 2 people just because of, or I guess technically, well, I guess naded and ulted, just because of the way you peaked this. Whereas I think if you just chill here, because a lot of what people don't take into consideration is whenever they ult a site, like I love playing. I don't know if you were watching the stream last night or part of it. There was a point of time where I said like playing around the enemy's like bad smokes and bad like whatevers is so beneficial because they might not even they probably would have realistically they probably would have been ready for you to be here, but it's possible they wouldn't have because of how close the ult was to you. Like I said, you can see like the boxes there a lot. So like I said, you probably would have got checked, but I think if you hide there and you wait for them to push site, you might have been able to get a free kill because they wouldn't be ready for you. And then obviously also you see why the peak was bad, not because of this, just because you got ulted by him and then the nade. So yeah, basically, I think you need to take things a little bit slower. Is what it's looking like over a lot of. Wait for your team, play around your team. Okay, wow, everybody's just getting destroyed.
Yeah, it was kind of a clusterfuck.
Because if you don't peek here, you know, it's this very back to the similar situation. Even if you get a kill here, like, or if you die, there's no way your teammate can help you. There's not a place, not a world. So yeah, I think it's something we're seeing quite a bit. It's just taking stuff a little bit slower because I don't think your aim is necessarily bad. I think you're just taking fights in a point where it's like it's just almost impossible to win them. It feels like.
So, yeah, basically.
Yeah, does this all make sense so far?
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What do you say? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I just get a little impatient sometimes.
Yeah.
A little eager, and like my focus isn't always there. I struggle with attention in general. So, and this is just unlucky timing.
Yeah, that's okay. It happens.
I thought they were pushing out. I was like, oh, let me get a little more speed, and then he peaks.
Yeah, you just gotta expect it to be there though. Whenever you're walking, always pretty much always walk with your gun out. Walking with a knife out, it's not gonna be like a big difference. So, but I mean, you see what you did wrong there, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was a little surprised.
Got blasted. Like, no I could see that. I saw your reaction. I'm trying to check.
Like no way she hits that shot. I was like, yeah, they've been peeking it. They're probably not going to expect me to wide swing. I'll just hold them quick, not throw the dart.
Okay. I was checking pings, because sometimes you can play around the enemy's ping, too. And she actually has the advantage here, but I don't think it matters too much.
Is what she has, higher ping or lower?
So, whenever you have high ping, peeking into people is better. But whenever you have low ping, you could peek into people with higher ping, and you'll be better. You pretty much always have peeker's advantage, it feels like. At all costs, almost. And that's pretty much it. But she has, like, you have, like, what, 30? I think you had, like, 30. She has, like, 70. So it's pretty negligible. So I was just checking.
Okay. Yeah, and she's all the way across the channel.
Yeah, so this is a crosshair placement thing, though, because you get the skill if you have your thing aimed better. I think a lot of things that people don't take into consideration is, like, whenever you're double scope to the op, you're aimed a lot higher than you think. Like, you're aiming head level here. Now, obviously, she peeked as far back as possible. So she was obviously under your crosshair, but even if she peeks close, you're still at her head, so aim down a little bit. And I think if you do, you might have got the kill. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think it was necessarily bad to hold this. Because like you said, a lot of this comes down to just based on confidence, you know, attention, being able to hold this, like, have good attention on it, all that stuff. So that's just kind of a you thing. Like I said, I don't think this is necessarily bad. Or maybe once again you play this like a tighter angle so you can't worry about dying. Because I think you either hold this like as tight as you can, like this, maybe even tighter than this, instead of holding out like here, because you basically can't react if you hold tightly, but at least you get the info. Or I would even swing out pretty wide so they won't expect you here. And I think that would prevent a lot of things. If you swung out wide here, you'll see where she stops right here. And you can't see her, but she can see you. But if you're wider, you can see her. And you might have been able to flick down and shoot her. And then, or, like you said, just play for info. Because if you played for info, you'd see 2. And you would back up to site. And then opping from A site's obviously really good. So, yeah. That's a little bit more nitpicky. Well, I don't think the angle is necessarily bad. But based upon, like, what you're telling me as far as, like, attention and all that BS is that's just some things to think about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
Oh yeah, I died again.
Looks like you caught off guard here. All right. Okay. Same thing, kind of, but I'll give you an example. Okay. Do you think your reaction time is this fast?
When I'm on point, it can be.
Okay. Okay, I respect that. So when you're not on point, maybe not. Right.
No.
Okay, so the way I like to take this to people is like a lot of it is going to depend on how you expect them to peak. And so this is an example where you should expect them to wide swing, because the only thing they might not wide swing is this angle, like the one where you were holding last round with the op. That angle you can hold a little bit tighter because they might stop on a dime to get the shot off on you. But here, you're playing an off angle, so when you're playing an off angle, they're not going to expect you, so they're just probably going to be running around the corner. And so that being said, she's going to wide swing this, so it's going to be really hard for you to react. And that's kind of what happens here. Also, yeah, you're still kind of aiming a little high with the op, so just kind of think about that. Yeah, see, this is where you react. Yeah, this is where you react. You reacted right about... Just not playing. Hello? Huh. Weird. Anyways, whatever. I'll try and pause it on a good point again, but if not, it's fine. Yeah, so you saw where you reacted. I'm not going to go back, but you see the point. So I will go back a little bit. The way you need to hold this this is how I hold angles. And it's kind of it works for me. And Brax does this. Do you know Brax?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is how he does it too. Hold angles out a little bit wider, because what's going to happen is, let's say you're holding like where my mouse is, right? Like wider. So if she swings out, if they wide swing, that's where you're going to react. And so all you have to do is click, right? But if they swing close, all you have to do is go from here to here, right? Like this, you have to go, obviously there's a big play button in the way, but you see my point. This is the adjustment you have to make, which is tiny. Whereas if you're holding here and they wide swing, you're more than likely going to have to go from here to like here, because they're not just going to stop right here. They're going to keep running. So that is a much bigger adjustment than going from like here to here would be. So that being said, it not always, like I said, depends on if you expect them to shoulder peek or peek close, because then you need to hold it like tight. But that being said, it's always smarter to hold like right about here, because then you can easily just mouse one, because like I said, at the end of the day, you're holding an angle where they're probably going to swing wide anyways. That's just kind of expected. And so whenever you're holding one of those angles, you should hold wider. Then that being said, I would position it out here, because like I said, the adjustment from here to here is much quicker. Or if they wide swing even further and you don't react, you swing like here. Basically, these adjustments going from here to here or here to here is way quicker than going from like here to here. Or way easier, I should say. Does that make sense? And this,
that's most likely.
Yes, exactly. And so this happens a lot with rifles too. I see a lot of people hold super tight angles with rifles, and it's a similar situation. And so yeah, I think if you hold wider, you would hit the shot. You're like so caught off guard. If you hold the angle wider, I think you either hit the shot or it's a very small adjustment to flick to it. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think if I was holding exactly where you're pointing, I would have actually just hit the shot, because it's the same distance, the same reaction.
Exactly. And that's, like I said, same thing with rifles. Like, do you think if they fly around the corner, now the way this guy's holding it is just hypothetically, if they fly around the corner from here to here, do you think this guy's reacting? No way.
Probably not.
Exactly. And so he's gonna have to flick out to him. Whereas if you hold the angle properly, you don't have to flick at all. You just mouse one. And see, a lot of things you'll notice, this happened both of these rounds actually. Is this the... Yeah, okay. We'll go back to this one. Happens in both of these rounds. is a lot of times when you're hyper zoned on an angle, you don't flick. You just shoot whenever you get the reaction. That's just like that's normal, and that's what happens here. Notice you don't flick. You just shot. It's not like you tried to adjust to it at all, and that's because you're like so focused on the angle. So that being said, you really got to have it down to where you have your crosshair perfectly, or you got to slow yourself down a little bit and be like, okay, it's very possible that she's not going to be right where my thing is, so I got to flick to it. Happens like both times here. You flicked a little bit there, but you see you missed a flick because of how far it was. Whereas if you were holding it, tighter, you might have hit it because of how. Anyways, I don't need to preach on this. You get where I'm going.
Yeah. I think if I was holding both of those angles differently and better, I could have had both.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think either of the ways you took the fights were necessarily bad. I think you just held the angle pretty poorly, and you could have prevented that for sure. So, all right, let's keep going. I think you should swing with his ult. Okay, a couple things here. I think you should swing with his ult because she just got blasted by his ult. You can see the question mark at the tip of it, and so did she. So if you guys push here, it's possible the Jet might not get. Okay, so you know it's Jet though. Hang on, let's see.
Do I?
Okay,
oh,
you
yeah,
do.
I do. They both get seen here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, it's possible you might not want to swing this because she can dash out, which she probably more than likely did. But I would swing a little bit because you can hit the Sage here, and so and this is funny. Watch how you swing after the ult's gone.
Yeah.
Now you swing, right? Oh, he flashed. Okay, yeah, that flash was bad, so I see why you did it. But still, you see what happened. You swung after the fact, and so that kind of brings up the point of like when you're swinging. I think, like I said, you're just getting a little impatient. Because this is something we're starting to see consistently. Is start peaking patiently. Like I said, obviously you expected his flash to work. You could see where it went. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But and this also goes back to the thing that I was telling you about earlier. Is like when you hold an angle, how can I win this fight? How can whatever I was telling you. You have an SMG and you're peeking into rifles, and so you're just gonna lose. Obviously, kind of unlucky. You almost killed her, but even if you didn't, you probably would have got opped by her. How did she hit you for 18? Whatever, doesn't matter. Oh wait, you hit her for 18. Yeah, no, she did op you. So
okay.
Even if you don't kill her, they trade you, which is bad because obviously if they just keep trading kills, they're gonna eventually have sight. That's just how it works. And so yeah, I think you're just playing a little impatient. I think there's really a lot that's happening. Because I think if you just sit back here, let's see what happens. Let's see how the round finishes out.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why I didn't swing on the ult there. I think I just thought I was a little far, and by the time I swung out, they could have been pointed at my head. And
That's fine.
An op or something.
And that's okay. As long as you're thinking about that stuff, it's good because at least you're like in the process of like, okay, I shouldn't swing the ult because I can maybe die here. Excuse me, but
I don't know why I wouldn't swing there, and I don't know. I remember it just felt uncomfortable. I remember I saw him ult, but I don't know if I just didn't trust him or something.
That's fine if you
swing with me or
at least, like I said, at least you're thinking. I think that's okay. You thinking about that is completely fine. If you don't trust the ult, then you don't have to swing with it. And there's gonna come a point where you're gonna have to, of course. But like I said, if you don't trust it, then don't do it. That's fine. The issue was that you peaked with nothing, of course. So yeah, obviously, and then I think that
swing anyway, but still.
Right, but that's fine. I don't think that's necessarily bad. If you don't trust it completely, then that's okay. Okay, yeah, and then that just takes sight. So yeah, you kind of get the gist. I think a lot of it is playing impatiently. I think there's so many kills you could have had there. You could have had both those op kills. There's a lot of times where they pushed up A where you just swung into them. You could have had that. I think just slowing down your gameplay a little is what's going to be good.
So I don't know why I shot that dart. I was just like, I want to see if I can remember where the door crashed.
You're fine. It was close. Do you think you went too late here? Yes or no?
Yeah, definitely too late. I noticed that as soon as you played it, I was like, I should have just gone with her
Yeah.
or waited,
Okay.
and I did
That's
wait.
good. At least you know. Because what happened is she took a 1v1, then you took a 1v1. You won it,
Mm,
but and see, this is the things where you don't like. You're not gonna think about this. I guarantee, middle of this round, you weren't thinking like, oh, that was a bad fight. I should have done that. Because even I don't do that. Like I can break down on this gameplay, whatever. But if I'm not thinking about stuff properly, then it's not gonna matter. And see, this is an example of that. So this is why it's good to go back and watch gameplay because you'll be able to see this stuff. So yeah, you see why this was bad because you just took two 1v1s, and that's how you don't win fights as terrorists.
yeah, I tell my teammates not to do that all the time, and I still
Yeah,
do it. So
I mean, it happens.
it's like when we're holding site, playing for bomb, and then they're just like, well, let me just see if I can get a pick real quick. I'm like, no, just wait.
Yeah, no, people do it all. It'll get better at higher MMR. The higher you climb, people will play a little more slower because they'll just play smarter. That's tough. Now that I know you're both here. That's okay. You had, I mean, at this point, you kind of had to take this fight. She shouldn't have peeked. So here is actually where it's hard to see because it's a tight angle. I think you could have peeked with her. Should you have peeked in general? No, but because she's peeking, you kind of have to. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because at the end of the day, she's gonna peek, she's gonna die, and then
somebody
because
else
of
trigger.
now you're in a 2v1. Whereas I think if you swing with her here, you can probably kill her quicker, and then now you're in a 1v1.
Yep.
But this is a little more nitpicky because it's hard to see that she's swinging it wide because of how small of an angle it is.
Mm,
But that is something over time that's good. Like I said, could add up. That's something you can think about for sure.
mm.
Um,
Say if I got the kill on the jet there, all I had to do was hide and then play the bomb.
yeah.
And
So if
then
you play close here, like close to this wall, as you see the jet pop up on the minimap and you see them fighting, because you'll hear it, you'll see it, you know all that. Then you swing. You more than likely, I don't know how quick it was. You probably would have gotten a free kill on her, and then after that, now you've been a 1v1 with him, and the bomb's planted for you, so you're in a good spot. So a
mm,
little more nitpicky because at the end of the day, she shouldn't have peeked it. But like I said, you got to play around how your teammates play, and that you'll see a lot of improvement if you do that. Just because you get free kills off that essentially. I
mm.
almost tell people to bait your teammates, but I don't like the word bait because that's bad. But
It's like use them to your advantage.
yeah,
Use their
exactly.
mistakes.
Use their mistakes to your advantage, essentially.
Just go to pick up another ghost.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Wait, who? Was it the
Brimstone
sniper?
killed you.
Or was he? Yeah, but
He was
where?
CT right there.
Oh, okay. He just rips me.
Yeah. I mean, because you guys don't have bomb, I don't think you should beat this. Because on an eco round like this, just prioritize getting the bomb down to get the money.
Mm,
So I think this peak was also kind of impatient and whatnot, but I think the more important thing is the fact you guys just didn't have bomb. So
yeah. And I think honestly, I was just like tired of my teammates a little bit, so I was just like, I'm not gonna worry about what they're doing. I'm just gonna whatever they said rush, I'm rushing.
yeah, I
And
feel that.
that's just impatient gameplay and not like thoughtful gameplay. So I mean, obviously this isn't me at my peak or whatever, but
hmm I think this is where you
and
end
then
it,
I
right?
just I
Yeah.
cut the stream off because
Okay.
it was
That's okay.
just stuttering, like just frames were bad that
I
whole time.
understand. I used to have the same issue, but not so much anymore. Okay. Oopsies. Let's fix. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
That's not supposed to happen. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I could just stop sharing. There we go. Okay. So yeah, is there anything else you want to touch on? Any other questions? Any other clips? Anything else at all?
No, not
Because
really. I mean, that's a
yeah.
pretty
So
good exemplifier of my gameplay. I could have done a lot of stuff differently and better, but
yeah. So I think the biggest thing to take away is how you hold angles and also patience. I think this is the biggest things. And playing around your team. I think both of those things combined. Because I think a lot of you'll see you see how many free kills you could have gotten if you just slowed things down a little bit. You see how easy it could have been. Like the ops, you could have gotten both those op kills. You could have gotten,
a couple picks on site when I'm hiding behind the box.
right, exactly. And that one round wherever you got hit by like four different things, that probably wouldn't have even happened if you just didn't swing because you obviously you got hit by the recon, you got nade, all that stuff. So,
Yeah, they wouldn't have
yeah,
necessarily had the info.
I think just slow things down a little bit. I think that's what you should start doing. Now is the one thing I will ask you because this is something I struggle with, not so much as recently, but I used to a lot in CS. I didn't trust my aim when people flew around corners, so I would peek into them. Is that something an issue, or is it mainly just you're just playing impatient?
Sometimes it's both. Like,
Okay.
today it depends on how my gameplay's been and also just like general mood and stuff. But like, I have a lot of lack of confidence in my aim sometimes. But
Hmm.
then I'm like, I know I'm fine. Like, I've been playing FPSs for a long time. I've done enough aim trainers. Like, my aim's fine. Just trust my aim. And when I do that and it's really out of my head, like I can do whatever I want.
Okay, that's
But
good.
then when it's not, like it just I whiff, and then when I start whiffing, I'm like, okay, I'm already missing, and it's a whole mental thing. It's not
Hmm.
even like
It is
talented
a
or
lot of
anything.
mental thing. Okay, I'm glad you recognize that because it is big on that. So what aim trainer do you use?
Right now, primarily just Kovacs
Okay.
and just like the bots in Valorant.
Okay, that's pretty much what I don't use Kovacs, I use AimLab, but it's the same, probably the same. I would imagine it's kind of the same idea. So how often do you practice your aim?
What'd you say?
How often do you practice your aim?
It depends. Sometimes I'll hop on Kovacs for like 20, 30 minutes before I play, and then other times I just won't play Kovacs for like a week. But I'll
Okay.
usually just like hop in the bots just to see how I am.
Okay. So what trying to think how to word this. Hold on. I think a lot of your because you sounds like you have inconsistent issues with like I don't want to say mental, but I guess it is kind of mental. Like basically you have inconsistency with like how you're playing. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah,
Would you say that's right? Would agree with that?
yeah, definitely.
And
I'll have some
so
games where I just
yeah.
yeah, you go.
So can you expect yourself to play consistently when you don't consistently practice? Yes or
Fair
no?
enough.
Yeah, you can't.
Uh, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I play I play the game every day,
Right. Which
but
is
I don't
good.
aim practice every day.
Okay, so I think you should develop an aim routine every day. Mine is tiny. I literally do 10 minutes of aim lab, or yours would be Kovacs, and then I shoot bots for like 5 minutes. 15 minutes warm up, that's all I do. Obviously, there's some days where I'll just go, I call it it's hilarious, I call it the chamber. You just blast music and you just send it. You just shoot bots for like hours. Uh, but that doesn't have to happen every day. I think you need to develop before you play any day. Even if you're just playing one game a day, playing 8, whatever the case may be, figure out a warm-up routine for yourself. And like I said, it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be 20, 30 minutes. It could be like 5, 10 minutes. I would suggest doing at least 10 because then you're like getting at least a little bit of stuff going.
Hmm.
And so once you start doing that, you'll probably notice a little bit more consistency. Obviously, a lot of what's going to come from that is like we were talking about earlier in the call. A lot of the ranks in this game just aren't consistent. Like you'll get in games with people. Literally, you can go from playing with golds one game and immortals the next, and also like those immortals might not even be that good. Whereas the golds felt crazy. That stuff happens. A lot of it's just because it's beta. Like I said, we touched on this earlier. So
Hmm.
I think if you develop a consistent warm routine, you'll have because it sounds like you play a lot of how you play is based on how confident you are, and I guarantee you'll feel a lot more confident going into every game if you warm up every day. And like I said, you can't expect to play consistent if you don't practice consistent. That's just the rules. That's just how it goes. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, so like I said, big things. Do that. Develop a warm routine, whatever that is for you. I could sit here and tell you what you should do, but at the end of the day, it's all comfort because you're warming up. As far as
Hmm.
aim training, I can help you with that in the future. But like I said, the warm up thing is on you. Play more patiently, and then think about how you hold angles and play around your teammates. I think those are the biggest here. I'll message to you. Play around. I cannot type. Team warm up. Hold angles properly. What was the last one? What did I say?
Slow down.
Yes, patience.
Yep,
That's right.
slow down.
So I think if you think about all these things every game, you'll start to see improvements. It's going to be a while, especially with the patience thing, because that's something that's just naturally, as we could tell, just kind of built in. You just kind of swing.
Yeah.
That's normal. So that's going to be a while for you to break. But once you break that, I think you'll see a lot of improvement, especially because the way you were talking, like, I think you're swinging these angles wide and like incorrectly. Plus, you're not confident. But I think if you practice every day, or like warm up, I should say every day, you'll be confident and you'll play the angle right. I think you'll climb like instantly, based on just those two things. So yeah. Any other questions? Any other tips or any other things you want to talk about?
No, I think a lot of that stuff. It's like I know, like when I'm watching it before I even we started this call, I was like watching the VOD and I saw all this stuff and I'm just like, why am I doing that? Like I know that doesn't make sense in my head, but I'm not making the
Yeah,
choice in the
it's
game.
the same way in game. Because continue. Sorry.
I've gotten sloppy because I played so much Counter Strike and I was so good at Counter Strike and I was only getting better. I just stopped playing.
Hmm.
That I'm like complacent when I come to this game. I'm like, oh yeah, everything will just carry over to come back, and then I don't really have to challenge myself as hard, and I'm learning the hard way that that's not how it
Right.
works.
That's how it is
And
for me
I'm
with like.
now.
Sorry, I keep cutting you off. Finish.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm just like actively going back through that, like embracing the learning phase.
Yeah. That's how it is for me with school actually. Like, so I took a calc class in high school, and I was like, yeah, whatever, and it wasn't bad. And then I took a calc class in college, and I was like, this will be easy. I already did it, and it was not easy at all. That's happened twice now, and it's the same. Yeah, same thing with games. So yeah, like I said, a lot of it is gonna come with just consistent practice and all that stuff. And then what else did you say? What did you say just before? What was the first thing you said?
Complacency, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. It probably isn't that important if I can't remember, but
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know. Anyways, point is, yeah, I think if you practice all this stuff, you'll see improvement really quickly. And also, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that was just the biggest things that we noticed. Obviously, we didn't get any terrorist side stuff. So if we ever do another session in the future, oh, I know what I was gonna say. That's right. So one huge thing you could do, because if what you said you went back and watched some of your game and you realized these mistakes you're making, you can either watch your own gameplay, or even better, go watch professional gameplay and see how they hold angles, see how they play, see when they peek, and think about why they did it, see what angles they hold and why, all this stuff. And then you can compare that to your gameplay, and you'll see, like, you'll start to notice these things. So all you have to really do is copy professionals at the end of the day, kind of just copy what they do, and you'll fly. You'll see improvement really, really quick.
Yeah,
So
I watch a lot of streams. I have
okay,
your stream up right now, of course.
yeah, good. There you go. You can just do that.
But,